everyone, welcome to Ed's Garage. Today we're going to be replacing the throttle body on this 2008 Saturn Vue. Now, as some of you may already know, I work at Abbotsford Hyundai. Now, I have a Saturn. This is my wife's car. Don't worry, I actually own a Hyundai vehicle. But in any case, today we're going to be replacing the throttle body. So a throttle body is basically what regulates the air going into the engine. This is your throttle plate right here. And the issue that I have with this vehicle is that the throttle body makes all sorts of crazy noise. As a matter of fact, this is its throttle body. Now, I know I just drove this car in, so you're probably wondering, well, how the hell did you drive it in without a throttle body? Well, I went to the wrecking yard and I picked up a throttle body about a month ago and put it in. And when I was at the wrecking yard, they were closing in like 15 minutes, so I quickly pulled a throttle body out of another vehicle that had the same engine size and threw it in there. Problem with that throttle body, too small. The air intake, so this basically diameter, was too small. I just realized I'm looking at myself and it looks weird in the camera. Sorry about that. So the air intake was too small and the vehicle was very, very sluggish. So what I need to do is I need to put the proper sized throttle body in there, which I do have now. I ordered this on Amazon, cost me about 140 bucks. That's Amazon Canada for all you Americans out there who get much better deals on parts, but I just didn't want to wait. So I ordered this, came in really, really quickly, and it's brand spanking new. So we're going to put that in today. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so full disclosure, I am not a mechanic. I just pretend to be one sometimes. All right, so underneath the hood here, we've got a 2.4 liter ecotec engine. This is the GM BASS system. I don't know what BASS stands for. Battery assist, I guess. Battery assist system. Because it actually is a hybrid drivetrain. Well, this is a mild brid. The way this system works, basically, it's pretty easy. You got your typical 2.4 liter ecotec engine, and then there's actually an electric motor that basically just assists the engine in acceleration. But also, when you come to a stop, engine shuts off. It uses a battery pack that's mounted in the back of the vehicle to power that electric motor, and the electric motor keeps all the accessories turning, so you're saving fuel. Now, I wish that were the case with this vehicle, but because it's got 170,000 kilometers on it, the whole system doesn't work very well and anymore. And I get about 11 liters per 100 kilometers, which unfortunately is more than this vehicle should use. But you know what? For a small SUV, that's actually still not terribly bad. So it does the job. In any case, we're going to replace the throttle body today, and maybe that'll actually help a bit too. So this is the throttle body that I picked up from the wrecking yard, and as I mentioned, the intake is too small. So hopefully what we're doing today makes a difference. So first thing I got to do is take all this crap off. Basically, my air filter's down here. I'm going to loosen that clamp, and I'm going to take off the positive crankcase hose here. That's a pretty simple one. Make sure that it's clean and not clogged, and that'll give me access to my throttle body, which is held on literally by 4 bolts. So pretty simple. Alright, so to remove our clamps today, I'm going to be using my handy dandy Ryobi impact driver. These tools are fantastic and I highly recommend them to anybody looking for inexpensive, good quality tools. Now, the other thing I'm using is a the hell do you call it? A driver extension, something rather. But yeah, the reason I'm doing that, not for this one, but for the other clamp, it's a little bit annoying to get to with a power tool. So what I can do with this one is I can bend it around and just loosen it just as easy as that. The more you can do with the power tools, the quicker you're going to get stuff done. Alright, so I'll take off that clamp using electrician's pliers. Why? I don't know. First ones I grabbed, that's why. And they worked. Taking off hoses like this, sometimes just a little twist breaks them free. And they should come off pretty easily after that. There we go. Alright, Larger hoses, same thing. Give them a little twist, and that should release them. That one I'm not going to take off yet. This one first. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this one. There we go. All right, so there is a bunch of excess plastic that GM decided would be a good idea. And really, I mean, you just need a pipe running from here to here. That's, you know, air cleaner with filter, air intake. So what the hell is all that mess? Yeah, whatever. Okay, got to take off these 4 bolts. Alright, so what we need is a 10 mil for those 4 bolts. Now, 10 mil is the most notoriously missing socket in any one socket set. What's really weird though is I've lost my 12 mil, so I've had to replace it. I've lost my 17 mil, so I've had to replace it. I've actually lost 2 17 mils and had to replace both of them. Yet, I got my 10 mil, my 10 mil, and my 10 mil. I haven't lost any of them. What the hell's wrong with me? I do a lot of repairs, and for some reason, the mysterious 10 mil is still in my toolbox. Alright, so, anybody looking at these giant Stanley sets from Canadian Tire, they're great, but the ratchets suck balls, so I recommend you use different ratchets. I'll be using a Westward. I've had this trusty ratchet for, 20 odd years. Good stuff. So, to unplug this type of connector, basically what we need to do is we need to pull this little plastic retainer out, just that far, not too far. And the reason for that is because there's a clip right here, and the only time you can actually push that clip is when this is pulled out. It's like a lock. Now that I got the retainer pulled out, I can push the clip and pull it out. Doing your absolute best to not pull on the wires, of course. So anybody with a GM vehicle with a 2.4 liter engine, 2003 or 4, something like that, or newer, will have quite literally the exact same style throttle body. They're all interchangeable, but the bore on this one is much smaller. And I think the bore is smaller because, honestly, this one probably actually came out of a 2.2 liter ecotec engine. So, here's what we're looking at. I remember now. So, the outer diameter here was exactly the same. But the inner diameter, you can see the throttle plate is quite a bit smaller. So, I'll put them side by side. Somehow. You can see this one is substantially larger. It's easier to see on this side, actually. There we go. So, 2.2 liter ecotec, 2.4 liter ecotec. This is the one that came out of my vehicle, or my wife's vehicle, and it's way cleaner than this one, like quite a bit. But it's not as clean as the new one. Oh yeah, beauty. Alright, let's pop this guy on there. Now these ones actually come with a green rubber gasket, or polyurethane gasket, or silicone gasket, or whatever the hell it's called. So you don't need to replace this if it's still in good condition. It's probably not a bad idea to just give that a quick wipe though. WD-40. Just to make that piece of paper towel got a little bit of cleaner on it. WD-40 is like the best universal cleaner ever. I use it to clean my hands off too. Works well. Alright, now being very careful, of course, not to inadvertently drop bits of paper towel down into the intake. There we go. That's good enough. Alright, so pretty simple. Just line it up, put the bolts in. Solved your uncle. Alright, so when installing anything that's seating onto a gasket, it's always a good idea to basically seat a bolt or lightly sort of finger tighten it, and then go opposite corner, and then follow that around basically. And the reason for that is because you don't want to tighten one side of the thing, which could actually force the gasket to move in ways that you don't want it to. On some applications like valve covers and whatnot, you can actually bend the valve cover as an example. So there's a number of different reasons, but you always want to try to go opposite corners and sort of keep that trend going. As a matter of fact, same for putting on wheels when you're bolting on a wheel after you've replaced a flat, as an example. So we're just going to hand tighten these. One more thing that my wife had mentioned was that she could smell a little bit of burning oil whenever she would come to a stop, like when she would drive for a little while and then come to a stop. And sure enough, when looking at the oil level on the vehicle, after she'd put 1,000 or a couple thousand kilometers on it, I could notice the engine oil dropping a bit. So it doesn't look like it's necessarily burning oil in the engine, and the reason I can say that is because it's actually engine oil all below the valve cover gasket. So it looks like it's leaking out of the valve cover and landing on the exhaust system. So I could do the whole repair and put a new valve cover gasket in there, and quite frankly, I'll probably do that one day anyway. However, I want to give something a shot, and it's a product that I've used in my Isuzu Trooper, which has stopped several leaks: an oil leak, differential leak, a transmission, actually two transmission leaks, one on the input shaft seal and one on the shift lever input shaft seal. So it's actually stopped all of those leaks. My Trooper is bone dry underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. It's AT205 Reseal, and I swear by this product. I've used it on other vehicles as well. Haven't used it on this one yet, but the results that I've had on several occasions now leads me to believe that this is going to work just fine on this seal as well. So check it out. Look at the reviews on Amazon. This stuff gets extremely good reviews for stopping leaks. So it's 8-ounce bottle. It's designed to treat a 6-liter or 6-quart system. I don't think I have. This is not full. I've already used some of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of what I've got here into the engine. I might keep a little bit out, because this is a 5-liter engine, or well, it's not a 5-liter engine, but it takes 5 liters of oil. Maybe a little more. So essentially what this is, it's a plasticizer. So it actually will it'll go to the rubber seals and replasticize them, rejuvenates them, causes them to expand a little bit, not a terrible amount, just enough basically. So I haven't had any problems using the product. If you look up reviews, there's 99% of people using it haven't had any issues with it either. So I definitely recommend it. It can be used in the engine, transmission, differential, power steering system, and any basically hydraulic system. Other than brakes, you don't want to use this in your brakes. So basically, yeah, you just pour it in and drive the vehicle around. After about 500 kilometers, so about 300 miles, it should clear up the leak. If it doesn't, take it to your local mechanic or fix the leak. So the leak that I have in this one is around the valve cover, and you can actually, well, if we lean over this side here, you can actually see it right there. There's a bunch of oily residue, and I was able to see it down this other side as well, and kind of all over the place. It's a little messy. And there's actually a little puddle right down there as well on top of the transmission, where it's probably also cooking. So not a huge leak. It's pretty slow, but it's enough that the oil that's coming out of it is burning on the exhaust and causing that little oil burning smell. Guys, if I'm wording things wrong, I apologize. As I mentioned, I am not a mechanic. I'm only doing this with one take. I'm not, making a mistake, realizing it, and then retaking this. I'm not into that kind of bullshit. When I'm done this video, I'll edit it a little bit. I'll throw it up on YouTube. But I just wanted to have something out there to get started. So, the air box. I'm sure it's got a proper technical name. I don't care what it is. It's a box that has air flowing through it. Pretty straightforward to me. Okay. All right, I've gone ahead and put the intake hose back on. Notice I haven't put the engine cover back on. And I haven't put the engine cover back on because I still want to pressure wash it all. Alright, so the new throttle body is installed, and I do have a service engine light, but that is on for an unrelated issue. However, it might also be on for the new throttle body. When you install a new throttle body into a vehicle, often there is a relearn procedure. When I first started up the car, the idle went all the way up to 3,000 RPM, and then it dropped back down to 1,000, and now it's idling nicely at about 800. Which is about right. So I'm going to double check the fault codes and just have a quick look and just see if any of them are related to the throttle body. Alright, so I got a C1224. That is just for the rear wheel speed sensor circuit, so nothing to really worry about. I'm going to go ahead and actually clear that fault because what I want to do is I want to do the relearn procedure, and honestly that wheel speed sensor, it doesn't actually screw up very often. So if I clear it, there we go, it's gone now, so I don't need to worry about it. ABS light's on as well, but that'll go off after my next start. So anyway, the relearn procedure on these vehicles is quite simple. You let the vehicle run and idle for 3 minutes. Then you shut it off and you wait a minute, and then you turn it back on and let it idle again for 3 minutes. So we're going to give it a minute, and then we'll start it back up. Okay, it's been approximately 1 minute, so I'm going to go ahead and fire it back up. Alright, so it looks like the computer just had to do a little bit of searching around for the correct idle speed. And it's calming down very, very quickly this time, which is good. Alright, so now it is currently 12:14. We got to let it sit here and idle for 3 minutes. 12:17. So it's been 3 minutes. I'll go ahead and shut the car off. Open the door so stuff shuts off. Okay. Idle. Looks good so far. Okay, I think it's safe to say we can go for a drive here. Alright, so it seems to be running properly now. Idling at about 700 and, well, between 720 to 760. It kind of fluctuates between that. So it's doing pretty good, and I was able to boot it up this hill without any problems. It's definitely got a lot more power than it did with that other throttle body that was too small. So I think we're good. We're going to head home and pressure wash the engine, and I think that's all I need to do for today. And then I still got to replace that wheel speed sensor. Okay, cool. See you in a bit. Alright folks, so we've got the engine bay all pressure washed. So we just got to put the engine cover back on and put it all back together again, and we'll be done. I'm going to give that a wipe down just because it didn't get the benefit of the pressure wash. Use some all-purpose cleaner. Ugh, that just made it look worse. Maybe a fine mist. That's better. WD-40 is probably one of the silliest products out there. Used for all of the wrong purposes. Everything that people think it should be used for, it's used for, and it's really not designed for. WD-40 is water displacement, hence the WD. And it's often used as penetrating oil. It's not penetrating oil. Doesn't work very well as penetrating oil. And is not recommended to be used as penetrating oil. Okay, so that looks a little better. Alright, put this cover back on. But I find that WD-40, while used for many other things, I like using it as a cleaner, actually, because it does a great job cleaning. Because it's a water displacement, it does a nice job at getting rid of all sorts of things that, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what? Try cleaning your hands with it one day. If you got really greasy, oily hands. Works great for that. Okay, so just a couple of those little posts back there. There we go. Here's our trusty impact driver. Being very careful on clamps with impact drivers, of course, because it's pretty easy to blow through a clamp's ability to hold in place with an impact driver. Doesn't take much. Good and tight. Good and tight. Last one. And now our clamp. And then we are done. Done and done. So it's running great. It's all put together. Now I just got to figure out the wheel speed sensor issue with the vehicle, and then we're good. That'll be the next video. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this helped out a little bit somehow. I don't know. I don't care. Maybe you just like watching people work on cars. I know I do. It's weird. Guys like Eric the Card Guy and Scotty Kilmer, they were inspiration. But of course, those guys are real mechanics. I'm just an idiot with tools. All right, so it's all buttoned up, looking clean, nice and good. Everything's running great. It's all put back together. Next video will be how to diagnose the wheel speed sensor, because that's one of the issues it's having with this vehicle. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that you liked the video and that you watch more. If you do, please hit the like button. Stay tuned for a lot more videos. I do a lot more than just working on cars. I do crazy shit, like I make flashlights, just as an example. So yeah, I got lots of home renovations coming up. Pretty cool idea to convert my basement into a games room based on Star Trek The Next Generation. So there's going to be a lot of Star Trek-y things going on there. Check out another video that I'll make in regards. So actually, I'll add the video to my page. Basically, it's all in regards to a shuttlecraft bed that I built my son. So that's pretty cool too. Anyway, again, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.